Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome to the Weedsman Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron. Welcome back. Boy, we just got this studio purring again. We're going to have to tear all this down.
Right? In like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Moving again.
Although, I'm convinced this room that we're recording in is cursed, so maybe it'll work even better.
Right.
In the new place. Yeah, moving house.
Yeah. Moving out of the city.
House.
Moving like an hour
Oh,
south.
moving up. There's a lot of good moving songs, huh?
Yeah.
But none of them are actually about moving, like moving your shit.
Right.
They're all, like
Just
they
moving-
might,
Bad Company, moving on. You know, he's moving on from town to town. I think that's one of those.
Yeah.
I go from town to town. I fuck all the ladies and I leave.
it's a rambling
Yeah.
song. Yeah. The rambling song. That's one of the best fucking man show skits ever. The fucking song, the compilation of songs for, what is it? Just songs for dudes?
He called it Retro Rock and Rock.
Yeah. It's
Hold that.
rambling songs, witchy woman songs.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think like this. I don't know if you know this one, but from Suede now, the London Suede. I guess there's some band named Suede here in the U.S. But they have a song, Moving, that always comes to mind. What's the Led Zeppelin song? He says Moving On, but that's not the name of the song. Isn't it
Rambling On.
Rambling
I mean,
On.
or Ramble On, yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate.
But that's about
that is
fucking,
the ultimate.
that's Lord of the Rings though, because it's about,
it's
in
about
the, in the
walking.
song.
Yeah.
In the darkest depths of Mordor, I met a girl so fair, but Gollum and the evil one crept up and slipped away with her. Yeah. I think that's the first use of the word yeah in a pop culture song.
He does say yeah, doesn't he?
Listen, black people,
Yeah.
you stole one from the English people. Robert Plant went yeah first.
No, that's Ja, I think.
Yeah. Well, why would he talk about John when he's talking about Lord of the Rings?
I don't know what he's talking about. Half the time he's talking about Lord of the Rings, and the other time he's talking about sex. You know, I do believe that Led Zeppelin is one of the sexiest bands in the world. And I don't...
Like, you want to fuck them?
They don't get is it because it's out of that time? I mean, I'm sure at the time they would have been tops on the list of, like, if you were, you know, a young girl or a guy, you know, it was the 70s, one could slip in there. What called Creed?
What? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Robert Plant wasn't exactly
But now
the
it's
manliest looking dude. He looked like a chick.
Yeah. He had kind of that 70s version of androgyny. 70s androgyny.
Yeah, whatever. Gen Z and millennials been doing this shit for 50 years. David Bowie, Robert Plant.
It all comes back around again. I said to a friend of mine, someone who I've known for many, many years since back in my raver days, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and I came across a photo that was at a fashion show, and it wasn't the people on the runway, so this isn't haute couture or however they say it. This isn't like, you know, stuff that isn't really meant to be worn out. It's just runway pieces. This was the audience. I sent a picture to her. I was like, this is current. Like this weekend, these people were photographed at a fashion show and they all look like ravers. Like the dude's got a fat pants and a visor.
No.
The girl's got some like
look straight out of 1998.
Tight black and white, asymmetrical, like kitschy, futuristic.
By the way, we're officially in the doom loop
Tank tops
with YouTube on my
bracelets,
iPad.
Colors.
By the way, kids, there you go. If you want to know what it takes, how long it takes for an iPad to be rendered useless by Apple when it still functions.
Is it one step away from a brick at the moment?
13 years.
Yeah.
Like, this is a 2012 iPad, and YouTube just keeps telling me it needs to update, and then it won't update.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
So yeah, again, Apple products, kids, they're
you
durable.
can still, there are ways around it. Like you can just tell it, you can even keep a version that's compatible.
This is an
with your
iPad that still has a number. Put it that way.
Yeah.
This is a 4. This is the last one they numbered.
Is your lightning to...
No, but it's not going to make YouTube work.
No, on the phone. Like you got your...
In my USB-C. Yeah,
Right.
it said new phone. Right. Who dis? Yeah, that's what my USB-C
New phone,
saying.
who dis
New
jack.
phone, who dis?
I don't know this, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, your phone's like, wrong hole. Give me some juice on channels 3 and 4 there.
Music today. I just don't get it. Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. You know, in my day, rock and roll
have you seen a
wasn't
picture of
about
him lately? He
boy
looks so
bands or
young
this
in there
robot
compared to how he
crap.
looks now.
Our songs
I have
were about
not.
Dude,
drinking
he's turned into an old
and
Jewish
brawling
guy.
and rambling.
Got
Yeah.
the big glasses and everything.
You're not going to find these lost treasures.
Really?
on radio,
He's got big
but you
glasses?
will
Oh, yeah.
Find them here. Pure retro rock.
How's
and
he
rock.
doing with his,
20 songs that rock so
stripped down
hard,
show?
you'll
Oh, it's
think
still
he
going
died
strong?
and
Oh yeah,
went
he's
to hell.
still having it on like people you've heard of.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like it's running out of gas or anything.
No, he just got a new partner. Like the one guy does MMA. He's like sounds like he's a meathead who's trying to learn stuff by
Wait,
working with Adam. But they also have another podcast together, and we're talking over
And
this whole
songs
thing.
about
Yeah.
hard living, hard loving women.
Part of the gag too with this is all the song titles scrolling by.
Yeah, that's true.
And whatever happened to rambling?
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Goodbye Woman, it's a rambling theme. One of the song titles that go by is in brackets. I
Pure
just
retro
got
rock
the,
and rock.
and then it's
a
ramble.
10 on the Rocker scale.
Pure retro rock and rock can be yours for the low price of $19.99 for CD, $12.99 for cassette. So order now.
Pure retro rock and rock. Because life's too short not to live in the
Screened on
past.
a motorcycle at the end. Yeah, so you're gonna be rambling. You're gonna be rambling on down the road.
Yeah, about an hour down the road.
Yeah.
Moving to the country.
So you're gonna get a
Not eating a lot of peaches.
You're gonna oh yeah. Is it the president?
Yes, presidents of the United States of America.
The POTUS?
Think they like that name now? I don't even think they exist anymore.
I think they do.
But yeah, my girlfriend lives like 2 hours away. We're meeting in the middle. It's gonna be interesting living an hour away from where I work and everything else is.
Wasn't that Liz Lemon?
Benjamin Button. We're not meeting in the middle.
No, not the age thing. No, doesn't she have a meetup with somebody that they have like a rendezvous that's halfway in between?
No, that was
What am I confusing
no, that was
it with?
Jack Donaghy and Edie Falco.
Yes, they met it. Oh, and because she was a Democrat.
Yeah,
that was metaphorical too.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
she was in D.C.
Yeah,
he was in New York,
So they met in the middle.
which was in Pennsylvania. I see what they did there.
Yeah. So are you going to get a new area code?
Not
that
really.
it matters
I'm going to live in
anymore.
a new area
Right.
code, but yeah, I'm moving to this.
You will be in a new area code,
Yeah.
but we take our area codes with us now.
It's true.
Yeah. Detroit's getting a new area code. I bet you there's a lot of people up in arms.
Yeah, is
About this.
313 going away?
No, 313 doesn't go away, but they have to introduce a new area code for new numbers. And frankly,
And they're doing it down in
This is
Detroit
this
since they
is
already
ano-
carved up the suburbs.
Well, this is another area where I blame the drug dealers. Eating up all the 313 phone numbers with their burner phones. That's what's going on. There's so many, but anyway, not that every burner is bought by a drug dealer. I've been in situations in my life where I've had to buy a burner phone.
Outlaw. You scofflaw.
Divorce can be a bitch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had a flip phone that I used for a while. Like after I owned a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I went from flip phone to iPhone. Like I made the jump quick.
I had about every kind of mobile phone that there was.
I had the Nokia
except
brick.
for the like backpack ones. My dad did have a backpack.
See, my dad
for
had
a short bit.
the bag phone that you plugged into the cigarette lighter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just like a business fad at the time, and I don't know that he ever used it. But he did have to. It made sense for him to have it, but I think maybe I just never saw it again.
Never had the Zach Morris phone.
He had part of his job was going to job sites and quoting their steel use so he could bid on a job. So he'd have to go to the site and look at, okay, here's how much steel they're planning on using and blah, de blah.
Yeah.
So that would make more sense. Like, there's not going to be a phone on a construction site that you can just grab real quick. But the 679? Boy, that rolls off the tongue, huh? You're going from 313.
Hey.
Yo, man.
If people in 313 are
we're
mad.
From the 679.
Be mad. You
don't want to fuck with us.
Your anger's 30-year delayed. The rest of us had our 313s yanked decades ago.
You know what zip code? You know what area code you're in, buddy?
I was telling somebody
you're
this
in
the other day.
679.
Which, by the way, the other day.
You know what that means? Don't fuck around.
I was telling this to a young person the other day, which, by the way, boy, did I get smacked in the face the other day.
Yeah.
Because talking to this kid that works for me.
Figuratively?
Yes. Yeah. Because, and I call him a kid, he's 28. And I'm like, wait a minute. You were born in 1997, weren't you? He's like, yup. I'm like, fucker, that's the year I graduated high school. That was just a kick to the nuts. Like, God damn, this kid's going to be 30, like in 2 years. But yeah, forgot where I was explaining to him. When I was little, like we got area code bends in the 90s because it was 313. Like the phone number I was taught to memorize when I was a little kid started with 313.
Yeah.
And then in the early 90s, they gave us 810. And then after like 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden 810, they went, nope, we're carving up 810 and now we're giving you 586.
586. Well, I mean, there was 248 was before then.
No, 248 is what, because
810 came after 248.
No, 810 was 586 and 248 came from 810 because they carved up 810 for 248 and 586.
Well, what this also means, this hot area code talk here, is that people who live in the area code of 313 and want to call somebody else in the area code of 313, they will have to dial 10 digits. They will have to dial
welcome
in
to how the rest of us have had to call 313 for the last 30 years.
Right. This makes
phone companies don't charge for long distance anymore unless it's international. You'll be okay.
I'm guessing the people mad about this would be over 90 because otherwise, I mean, the area code's just in the phone.
Well, there's a news story I saw today and I could tell you who's mad about it, but I don't want to sound racist.
Because they're black?
It's a lot of the 313 diehards that tie
Detroit. It's mostly,
it's a lot of silly people who tie their area code to their fucking identity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, there's plenty of white people who do that too.
I'm not out there screaming 586 till I die.
No, but I mean, there's plenty of white people who claim the 313.
And they're clear, well, they're not. Those white people claim, like, no, you're clearly 248 looking at how you dress.
Dude,
if you're 313, you live in Grosse Pointe.
I know people very well, friends of mine who I would not want to besmirch, but so I'll just let them go nameless, that came from the suburbs, lived in the city for a while, got a phone while they were there, and then took that 313 number and now live out of state. And you will have to pry that 313 number from their cold, dead hands.
My cold, dead Michigan hands. They'll be in mittens.
So I don't know. Like that's what 25-30% more dialing. Might be it's nothing to sneeze at if you already got the carpal tunnel. Fingers are already going crooked.
Or program it into your phone once, and like everybody's acting like they actually dial a number. Yeah. I couldn't tell you my girlfriend's number if you had
saying with it's only going to be old people who don't have a cell phone.
Buddy, I've known you for what, over 10 years?
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I could not tell you your phone number.
Call Aaron.
Yes, exactly. Who still dials their phone?
Yeah, I mean, like dialing.
Yeah, when you got a rotary cell, people out there rolling with a rotary, you got the.
That is one, like, a lot of the phone lingo is starting to change because of the way that we use it. And it's combined with so many other things. It's less about.
Don't you remember your children were mystified that the phone was attached to the wall? You blew your kid's mind?
But dialing seems to still persevere, even though it's like directly, it's telling you, like, no, it's a dial, right? Like,
yeah, no.
It's a dial, it's round, it goes around in a circle.
Anything, we should call it pushing.
Like a dial, right? A dial.
Push these numbers.
But I mean, even having just the push button or touch tone telephone, what does touch tone exactly mean? I guess it just means that
it sends the
right
it's going down the line instead of
dial,
the pulses.
Right. So the dial is a mechanical thing, and depending on where you stop it and let it turn back, it's going to set off a certain number of pulses, and that number of pulses is going to tell the exchange computer what number has just been quote unquote dialed. So the touch tone just means that you push a button and it makes that series of pulses, but you can mimic. So you can't do that anymore, right? Because the exchanges aren't the same. But remember, there was ways to get free call. People would have, series of pulses recorded on a little handheld recorder, and you could just hold it up to the receiver on a payphone. And because when you drop a quarter into a payphone, it sends a certain number of pulses in an order to the exchange to let them know, hey, open this line for a call. So that's what they would do. They would just send the pulses that the quarter would send, but directly over the audio line.
Think there's any payphones still left?
But you can find some in Detroit that is I don't know what's left of them. There are payphones with no receivers.
No, I'm talking functioning.
Like functioning payphones? I don't know. There's got to be functioning payphones out there.
For who? The government will give you a free cell phone. At least in this country.
Gas stations in the middle of BFE.
Again, the government, I guess what I'm getting at is poor people have cell phones. Who are these payphones for?
Yeah, but if you're out in the fucking desert, there's not cell service everywhere.
Well, there's not going to be a fucking payphone either. If you're out in the middle of the desert.
But I mean, if you're there's places where you could be at a gas station that has a telephone, but doesn't have good cell service.
So the phone lines go there, but the cell phones don't?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, remember how many, when we first started getting cell phones, you got service in the cities.
Oh, yeah. Well, because that's where the towers were.
I couldn't get service in my own fucking home, and I lived in Ferndale at the time. I go inside my house, I couldn't get service. I go outside the house, I travel just about anywhere. But yeah, you get out 20 minutes outside the cities, and it's just dead. Speaking of a rambling man, Neil Young, he likes to get out there and tour.
Oh, boy.
He made an announcement this week that he is ending what does Ticketmaster call it for their premium? It's platinum something or other.
Oh.
Maybe it's just platinum ticketing, I think.
Just buy tickets.
Yeah. So their platinum ticketing, which I don't know if that's exclusively just the premium seats, which the good seats have always costed. Well,
that's how concert tickets worked, right?
The good seats have always cost more, but now what Ticketmaster has done is labeled the good seats platinum and made them exponentially more expensive than the regular seats. It used to be you're on the lawn, it's $20. You want to be in a seat, that's going to be $35. You want to be in the front row, that's $50. Right? Or the first,
I think it was the first 10.
Yeah, the first 10 rows, you're $50. And granted, that's generalizing, and those were the prices at the time, and I know that obviously it would go up, but it's not that same tiered pricing anymore.
Oh no, it's ridiculous.
It's if you went
I'm still embarrassed to say what I spent on Metallica tickets.
Most fast food places
and I sat in the lower bowl. I was nowhere near the main floor.
They're getting rid of the medium, right? Because it just doesn't make any fucking sense. People either want a little bit of soda, or they want all the soda, right? And the pricing tends to go so that it's you might as well just get the large, because it's usually the difference is 50 to 60 cents. This would be if you went to McDonald's and they had a small and a large, and the small was $1.25 and the large was $10. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the difference. We can pay for normal seats and be way back and see the artist on the screen. Mm-hmm. Or we can actually get close enough to see the artist and have to take out another mortgage.
Yeah, well,
for $1,000 per seat.
Indoor golf range I go to, the way they sell their buckets, you can get a small bucket, which is 50 balls for $14.50, Or you can get a large bucket, which is 100 balls for $16.50. What are you gonna get?
Exactly.
Right? Oh, $2 more, you get double? Duh.
The upsell is right there in the price. And that's what, I mean, those deals always get me too. I consider myself a deal shopper, but
well, I'm already spending the $14.50.
Look at how much you'd save if you just took 2 of them home. And I'm like, well,
I don't fall for that. But in that other case, it's like I'm already $14.50 pot committed at least, right? Might as well just go the $16.50 and get double.
Well, like these pre-rolls that I got, $20 for the equivalent of an 8, but it's also they're infused, they're rolled in keef and all that shit. It's like well worth it. So I go in, ask for one of these for $20. They're 3 for $40. Well, okay. Well, I ain't quitting tomorrow, so let's go.
I mean, right? I mean, I get it. Like, I'm going to buy them anyway.
Yeah, for stuff like that. Not like a TV. I'm like, well, I get 50% off if I buy 2 TVs? Okay.
No, but the dispensary does it to me all the time.
One on top of the other.
Well, hey, what you're buying are 5 for $75. I'm like, well, I'm here with $40. So I'm just buying what I'm buying.
Yeah. So another thing that, I mean, not illegal and it's not immoral per se. It's just business practice, but I think it's bad business practice. So they rolled this platinum ticketing stuff out in the cities where they have the most scalpers. So they're not even, it doesn't even seem to be part of the plan to like offer this platinum package to the people who can't afford it. This is, let's gouge the scalpers. And that's how you get $5,000 for a Taylor Swift ticket. Because it was probably platinum pricing all in was like $1,000 or $1,200. But that was bought by a scalper who's now going to get 4 or 5 times that.
Mm-hmm. Well, now they've made scalping legal with the secondary market, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So what? Let me guess. Neil Young's not going to do it anymore until he doesn't make any money, and then he'll quietly start doing it again.
No, he's going on tour, and he said, "Oh, that's a quote from Robert Smith." So he actually cites Robert Smith for being the one that not directly, but I think he read an article because Robert Smith was very vocal about their tour. And how they're not going to, I don't know if they were able to do it without working with Ticketmaster at all, but they were able to do it without having the extreme jump in ticket prices.
That's what I was saying last week about Bill Burr, right? Like, put your money where your mouth is. You're big enough to do it without him. Tell him to fuck off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, kind of different. Like, Bill Burr could, like, go just about any city, and he might not get the venue that he would want, but he could play at any venue. Yeah, I mean, he could find a venue in any city.
It works.
What I'm saying,
Look at Louis C.K.'s receipts from like 2014. It works.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with the act, if you want to tour and you're the Cure, you're not going to do 5 fucking nights in Detroit at St. Andrews so that everybody can see your show. You're going to come and do 1 night and you're going to get everybody there and it's going to be in a fucking arena. You don't have, who else are you going to deal with? You've got to deal with Ticketmaster at some point or Live Nation or, you know, these companies that have the lockdown on all these huge venues. I mean, that's why Radiohead just flat out didn't tour the U.S. forever. And even when they did, it was like special, you know, a festival where they could play out in the middle of a fucking field and it didn't have to be run by Ticketmaster or Live Nation.
But to be fair, like, these are bands that are comfortable enough they can do this. Like, if you're a young band trying to make it, like, you gotta be, you unfortunately gotta be in that machine.
Well, you don't, I think if you're in a middle ground, if you're on your way up and you're starting to get bigger venues. I mean, when you're starting out, you can play wherever the fuck. You're not dealing with Ticketmaster. You're dealing with whatever venue you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But at a certain point in your growth, you're going to bump up against Ticketmaster.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
And it's not going to be at the arena level. It's going to be at, you know, oh, you're big enough to fucking sell out.
St. Andrews Hall. We'll throw that one again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. St. Andrews Hall. It's fairly big. I'm sure they still go through Ticketmaster. I don't know. I mean, I like seeing live music. I want to see more of it. And I just keep bumping up against stuff that is like, this is just fucking out of my price range. And not for affordability, for enjoyment.
Right.
I cannot, for $75 to $100, there's got to be something else that elevates that experience other than like, okay, it's 2 hours in the show. The band's still really good. My back kind of hurts.
Right.
You know, and I'm bitter over the fact that this doesn't feel like it was worth
I
the money.
wish I spent $75 to $100 on Metallica tickets.
Yeah.
If I would have, I would have been in like the nosebleeds.
I got Autechre is doing their first North American tour in over a decade. The first time that I've had a chance to see them play in Detroit since the 90s, I believe. I don't know if they've been back. Oh, no, they were at the DEMF, the Electronic Music Festival, like the second or third one. So that would have been early 2000s. So yeah, it's been probably 20 years since they played Detroit. And their live shows are just a totally different thing. It's not like they do their songs live, right? They do their songs that go on their albums, and that is the music. And then their live shows are just fucking jams that are crazy and go all over the place. And they've released a lot of them, so I've heard them, but I want to experience that live. So anyway, I was prepared to, that was a show where I was like, well, if this ticket's going to be $100, it's going to be $100. I'm not missing this for any amount of money. That
was the attitude I had for Paul McCartney when I had the chance to get Paul McCartney tickets. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this is a Beatle.
Right.
I'm going. Yeah.
And Autechre aren't that old, but who knows how much longer they're going to be doing this electronic music thing, and especially touring on this vast of a scale. Yeah, I was actually pleased to find that tickets are $35. Their Detroit venue is set up by Paxow, which is, they go back many, like more than 20 years now, I believe, in the Detroit party scene. And they're used to, they get a lot of like international acts and throw the big parties, especially around the festival. I don't know if they're directly involved with the festival, but they're like the big player in the Detroit market for those types of techno parties. And yeah, they said that they were gonna, I don't know if this was a request from Autechre or if they decided, but they just said that the pricing would be capped at $35.
Wow.
Cause it sold out. I got on their mailing list and got access to artist presale, and the artist presale sold out in like a half hour.
Oof.
But I was able to grab a couple tickets from that. But anyway, I'm rambling. This is a rambling. I'm rambling now.
On to the next town.
Yeah. So, and it's not it's at the Russell Industrial Center, which it's much different than back in the day.
It is.
Yeah. And they throw a lot of big events over there. All kinds of different crazy shit goes down in that building. It always has. But it's not a traditional venue. It's not a Ticketmaster venue. They don't have to deal with Live Nation. There's no one really bigger than Paxow that they have to deal with to organize this show. So, there are ways to do it, but on a level like The Cure, I think you gotta whip out your dick and just be like,
well, yeah, they can.
They can, but I think, but you have to because there's no other way.
It's got makeup on it and everything.
There's no other way. I think Autechre is about your limit for the type of crowd that you expect to draw to be able to do this still, quote unquote, somewhat independently.
I think Robert Smith does his pubes in a crazy way too.
Yeah. He teases them.
It's got lipstick on it.
Yeah. I think his pubes just are out of control naturally, and that was the inspiration. He's just looking down.
Oh, his hair is a tribute to his pubes.
He's like, I can't do anything with this hair. It's just awful. I look like Hitler when I comb it down.
And then he got out of the shower one day.
Looks down at his pubes. He's like, why can't it be naturally full of life and vigorous like you pubes? I got it.
I'm going to have pube hair.
I'm going to need the largest can of Aquanut.
Let's go to Sephora.
Smith says about it, we didn't allow dynamic pricing because it's a scam that would disappear if every artist said, I don't want that. But most artists hide behind management. Oh, we didn't know, they say. They all know. If they say they do not, they're either fucking stupid or lying. It's just driven by greed. Guaranteed that these artists know how much people are paying for their tickets, right? They know.
Yeah, at some point it's a business. Yeah, and he's right. Unless you're stupid or want to be clueless, you're going to pay attention.
I think that I'm sure there are some artists out there that are upfront about it too, and like, goddamn right, I charge a shit ton because what else I'm going to do? Sell a record? Or I'm going to sell 2,000 LPs and then eat? I'm going to sell 1,500 CDs and then pay my mortgage? See Tracy Morgan puking
I've not.
at the Knicks game.
I've heard all about or actually, I've seen all the stuff, but what happened? I don't know all of the.
He says it was food poisoning. And he went to the hospital. There was a picture that he posted on social media from the hospital. It says he's doing fine now, but he guess had some nasty food poisoning.
So he wasn't like, it was not like 29th draft beer.
The footage, and I don't know, like there's no reports of him like acting weird or anything like that.
His shirt was on?
Yeah, he wasn't playing his belly like a drum.
Which, by the way, I read that Tracy Jordan was supposed to be a parody of him on how he acted on Saturday Night Live.
Right. Yeah, the footage that I saw was just him. He's sitting courtside, and he's got his head down. He doesn't look so good, and he just pukes, kind of like a baby does, where they just open their mouth, and they're just like, like he just, like it's not he doesn't like heave, he doesn't like try and go anywhere, or like, oh, I gotta run. He's just like, oh, this is gonna happen, and pukes all over the court. He has held the game up.
Come on, Tracy.
I'm doing okay now, and the doctors say it was food poisoning. Appreciate my MSG family for taking such good care of me, and I need to shout out the crew that had to clean that up. Appreciate you.
My bad.
Oh boy. He says,
which, by the way, I saw Black Jeopardy, the 50th SNL.
Yeah.
That was that was hilarious.
It was really good. A lot of people mad at Hanks on that one.
I eat 4 cheese lasagna.
Yeah. He also says, more importantly, the Knicks are 1-0 now when I throw up on the court. So maybe I'll have to break it out again in the playoffs.
There he is. I don't know why Hanks got shit for that.
Because he was portraying a mega dude who was, it was like,
which he's supposed to. Hold on, I'll show you something.
He portrays a man who is ignorant, but he's not an asshole about it, right? He's just ignorant.
And people were mad at his depiction of it,
but he's got
right?
a red hat and he's got a flannel shirt. And
we're gonna play a game here. Let's see. I gotta go back to my Washington, Dallas. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I deleted it. Dude, there was a guy that was on Fox News that looked just like Tom Hanks' character. I was like, why are people mad at his depiction? He looks just like this guy.
Because that's why. Because he looks just like him, and people understood who he was lampooning. The American ignorant hick. He portrayed an American ignorant hick. You know who were offended? The American ignorant hick.
Because I thought it was fun.
It was culturally inappropriate.
Because people had beef when,
That's my culture that he's
when Keenan went to shake his hand and he went, whoa, whoa. And he's like, no, I'm afraid. People had beef with him doing that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Well, you thought
I've met people like that.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure there are a lot of people with fucking MAGA hats and flannel shirts that were watching that. And maybe they aren't racist and they're like, that ain't me. I ain't racist. Okay. That ain't you then. But ain't nobody in this fucking country can't argue that person doesn't exist.
Also, can we go back to having a sense of humor about ourselves?
Yeah.
Not everyone who wears a MAGA hat is racist. Like, stop acting, like that's the thing. Like, we can have a sense of humor about ourselves.
There's only 2 people left in the whole country that are allowed to make racist
It's like, it's
jokes.
not everybody on the left has like pink hair and wants you to call them them. And like, yeah, like
there's 2 people left.
It's comedy.
The host of Weekend Update.
Che and Jost.
They're the only 2 people left in America that are allowed to do any kind of racist humor.
I love when they write the racist jokes for each other.
It's the only way, like, racist jokes have to be told in an environment where you have somebody of that race that you can immediately look to and they nod and say, that one was okay.
Oh, there's a comedy sketch in there. Yeah, unless a black person follows you around and nods. Yeah, it's okay.
He gives you the creaky hand on one. That's borderline, but really funny, but borderline.
I saw a Neil Brennan clip the other day. He was like, the problem is you're never liberal enough. He's like, case in point, he's like, you go up to conservative people and go, hey, I'm conservative. You go, hey, how you doing? They welcome you in. He's like, you go up to a bunch of liberal people, go, hey, I'm liberal. They go, we'll see.
Yeah. They pull out the litmus paper and they're like, yeah, let's do a little dip test and we'll find out just how liberal you are. And also, don't call us liberal.
Yeah.
Lollapalooza announced their lineup. This is a far cry from back in the day.
Oh boy, so it means it's going to be not great.
Well, it's not great. I just don't know that it reflects like what Lollapalooza was supposed to be about. But Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay, and we're done.
A$AP Rocky.
They're in make money mode.
Olivia Rodrigo, Luke Combs, the K-pop group Twice.
This is all about money now. This is not about exposing new artists.
Tyler, the Creator, who I like, but is not like an artist who needs exposure.
Dude, everybody you've named is multi-platinum artists.
Yep. Korn. I mean, like, the original Lollapalooza was like, they would headline with acts that could have sold out the stadium on their own. Somebody like, at the time, Smashing Pumpkins, Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine. These are bands that if they came and played the Pine Knob here, they could fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the draw. And then you book acts like Lush, who 10% of that crowd might know. But you might gain some fans. I'm sure they did. I'm sure like Lush, even a band like Susie and the Banshees, who had been around forever,
the original Lollapalooza
probably gained fans from Lollapalooza.
It was more about the bands that weren't the main stage bands.
Tool, I don't know if they would have blown up as fast as they did. They might still just be a weird cult band if it wasn't for Lollapalooza.
Which, by the way, did you hear the Tool's in some little bit of shit?
Oh, what now? Is Tool or Maynard?
Tool.
The band Tool.
Yeah, they had their little desert festival or whatever a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
They played the same set both nights.
Was it an anniversary?
No, it was like
thing?
It was
like we're going to play Undertow and it's
They put together
or Anemia.
They got into the music festival business and put together their own music festival.
Right.
And they played the same set both nights. People were pissed. There's actually a class action lawsuit being put together against them right now.
Because it's not like they booked 2 nights because like Metallica, right? Played 2 nights here in Detroit.
But their shtick on that tour is no repeat. Like you're going to see a different.
Right. They specifically didn't do that, but they could have, right? They could have played the same show and people would have just got a ticket for one night or the other. But a festival, you're there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was like a 2-day thing. Like people camped and shit.
Yeah. And I can imagine that. I mean, cause Tool's a great live act. I've seen them live. They are a great band to see live. I think they're better live than they are on their albums. I think if you're at all a Tool fan, you need to see them live at least once. They're just fantastic and amazingly tight. But I can imagine just being blown away by a set from Tool, knowing that they're going to play again tomorrow. Like, whoa, what are they going to do for the Saturday night?
Yeah.
Like, man, that Friday night show is so wild. They're going to pull out all the stops, right? And just they're going to open with the same song. That's an interesting choice. Okay, song 2. I'm going to go grab a burger.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I can totally see being pissed.
You've been around for 30 fucking years and you're going to play the same set 2 nights in a row? Yeah. What the fuck? I'm pissed right now. I didn't even go. To be fair, I've kind of been out on them since like the mid 2000s anyway. I was a huge Tool fan.
Yeah, so was I. I mean, like, but I don't.
Every song.
I'm not still.
Have to be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, there's some great ideas in there. Let's edit.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's some weird science for you before we cut out of here. Have you ever heard of the term micro-lightning? I
was going to say it sounds like a good nickname for my penis, but it doesn't. It sounds like a terrible nickname for my penis.
Well, you just say it's only micro compared to the real thing. That's how I tell goes.
Hey, give me a second. It'll be macro lightning.
When they find out I call it Little Elvis, they're like, Little Han. I'm like, only compared to the real thing.
It'll die in the toilet.
Yeah. I guess in the 50s, back in Elvis's time, 1952, there was a hypothesis that they tested and were able to confirm. And what they were trying to do is figure out where life comes from. How do you get a planet full of rocks and water and gases and all these elements? And it's like that. It's like a missing link.
I think my answer, chemistry?
Yes, that is the answer. But how? Right? What chemistry can create life?
I mean, I know just if you leave organic matter in water, life's going to show up at some point.
Yeah, but it comes from somewhere, right? It's not generated. It's not spontaneous creation. It's traveling from somewhere else.
True.
So there's a theory that they were able to test. They basically took like a lot of the gases that were in the early stages of Earth's development and mixed it in some water. So some methane, some ammonia, some hydrogen.
Little magic dust.
They infused some water with it, and then they applied an electrical current.
So like when Frankenstein had the lightning hit the thing.
So they were trying to make components like uracil, which is in DNA and RNA, and glycine, which is in amino acids, or is an amino acid.
Uracil sounds like a prostate medication.
That they make up, yeah, it does. That they make up enzymes, proteins, nucleic acids, all the things that are the building blocks of living organisms. They were apparently able to create this, just like I said, these early gases and mix it in water and apply some electrical current, and that's the chemistry. But it was kind of tossed out because there would have to be so much electrical activity, and they were theorizing like maybe lightning strike in the water, and that's what sparks it. But I think what they found is it needs to be more of a sustained environment. It's not like zap and there, some cells are born.
The conditions probably have to be right.
Right. So, but and the conditions can't be like as instantaneous as a lightning strike. Mm-hmm. But it is still part of that. And hey, Dr. Frankenstein was right, huh? Like that was the missing ingredient to zap it with some electricity. So what they found now is that they're going back to this theory and looking at it again as a possibility for where life started, that spark. And that's where the term microlightning comes in. Because what they found is that water, like everything has a bit of a charge to it. And what happens with big bodies of water, you have waves crashing up on the shores and everything, and water is spraying all over the place, and there's lots of droplets. Mm-hmm. And they've discovered that depending on the size of the droplet, it will have a different charge to it. A very small droplet will have a negative charge, where a larger droplet will have a positive charge to it. And that causes an interaction. And so there's lots of little invisible transfers of energy, of electricity happening, exchange of electrons that are happening as these waves crash up on the shore over and over again. So that's more of a sustained environment where you might have all the gases there, you have the water there, and you have this constant electrical activity that could produce these compounds that eventually,
water, giver of life, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of makes sense.
So the secret of life is in water.
It's in the water, but it's in water. I mean, like we're made up of water and electricity and these I don't know, kind of crazy. Maybe it's all bullshit. But it's one of those science things where you're like, it sounds wild at first. You're like, okay, there's microlightning, and that's what made. But when you explain it, it's like, yeah, actually, it does make sense. It was like I was reading about how some scientists think that we might be inside of a black hole. Again, sounds wild, but the more I think about it, the more it actually makes sense. Because what we found with our expanding ability to visually and sensorially explore the universe with the different instruments and telescopes is that almost all the galaxies are spinning in the same direction. And we used to think that this was just because of our perspective of where we're seated, and we can kind of see the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, spin around us in a certain way. But yeah, the more we explore other galaxies, we're finding, wow, more often than not, they're all spinning in the same direction. So, and there's more science to it beyond that. But like, what if we are in a black hole? And what if...
So what? Right? Like we're just... Right,
yeah, so what? No, exactly. But I used to believe in, and I still kind of do, like the expanding and contracting universe. The Big Bang happens, but that's just one part in a continuous cycle. That's just, the nadir of this cycle. And then the other side of it is it expands so much that it can't contain itself. And then it collapses again. And then it collapses so much that it can't contain itself, and it blows up and expands again. But what if it's just a series of expanding black holes, right? It's almost like if you took like a Russian nesting doll, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There was constantly like new dolls being born inside of it as it expands. So, maybe this is just one version, one layer of this universal onion. And eventually one of the black holes that are currently in the universe is going to gain so much mass that it's going to expand enough to just pop into the new universe.
What kind of weed is this, dude?
And that's how the new universe will be born, right?
I am this is the end of the show. I am too high for this conversation.
And, everything else that's in the universe would just kind of be like, at that point, the universe will expand at a fast enough rate that we will just be stretched out. I'm talking like billions of years into the future. Like if we were able to live that long, it's not that we couldn't live, but like literally we would be like stretched, everything would be stretched out in that future universe. But yeah, it's just an idea.
Wow.
It didn't say that any of that shit, the second part in this paper that I was reading about. That was just my own conjecture of like, what if it's just an endless cycle of like black holes all the way down?
I feel like as a weed podcast, this is where you like drop the mic. There you go, stoners.
Well, because we don't know
about that.
We know that information goes into a black hole, but we don't know what happens beyond that because nothing can escape a black hole, not even light. There's no way to get any information out of it. Observation, no sound, no light. There's no way for us currently to know. If we sent a probe in, it wouldn't be able to communicate. So there's lots of things that we're assuming, like because of the extreme conditions that must be going on in a black hole, we assume that everything that goes in there gets what they call spaghettified. So you get stretched out to the point where you just kind of disintegrate into your, not even just particles, just information, just nothingness. Right? But
that's what you just made my brain feel like.
But that's just where our ability to measure and conceptualize breaks down. We don't know what happens beyond there. It could be that whatever goes into it is preserved. Maybe there's some people that believe that whatever goes into a black hole is just frozen in time.
Ooh.
Like if we were slipping into a black hole at that moment, we would just, it would feel like we would cease to exist. Not like frozen time, like we're just frozen and like we can look at each other like we're stuck in this room for
how's
eternity.
It going?
Yeah. But literally just like everything stops and we're just frozen in that moment. But we don't know. Maybe everything is rebuilt, or maybe it saves all that, all this information it's going to use to like build its own universe inside.
Think about that, people.
And it'll have blackjack and hookers. It's going to be better than this one.
At the Weedsman 420 on social media. ChristopherMedia.net has all the shows. It's maybe the highest we've ever ended a show, at least with concepts.
I know that's our real brain twister, isn't it?
Yes. We're still a 5-star podcast. Keep it going. Rate and review us. Please, thank you wherever you do rate us. And
do rate us.
Say hi.
Say hi.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.